Hello people, welcome back to our channel enshuae for some new stories. Although we are listening to the same story, but this is the last part of the story, so let us remember quickly what happened last time. After the court session, Sirius was ordered to take strict actions and hunt down the cloak. But the dust rested down for some days and nothing happened. But one night, the cloak again entered Inertius, and this time the army was not sleeping, although they were not able to catch him. But the cloak got hurt by 2 arrows and fainted in the king's private garden. When the veil was removed, to everyone's surprise, the cloak was actually a girl. Let us see what happens next. King ordered the cloak to be taken for dressing as she was bleeding heavily. As soon as she was in the room of the palace, she was given all medical care needed. King was waiting outside the room for the infiltrator to gain consciousness.
My Highness, she has gained consciousness now.
Mumna nodded his head, raised it and entered the room. The cloak was sitting on the bed, looking confused. She raised her head to see a tall figure stopping at a distance from her. Mumna expected her to stand and greet like anyone else would do, but she didn't. This startled Mumna. He wrinkled his forehead. He looked around. He looked at the cloak. He expected the cloak to get nervous or at least utter a few words, but she showed no sign of panic. She was looking down, seemingly lost in her own thoughts. King was staring at her in confusion. He was trying hard to understand her, but could not. She showed no signs of fear. Unlike everybody, King's presence was not making her uncomfortable or distressed. This ever increased King's curiosity. She was a different person. She seemed to be a different person, far different from what the King met every day. She finally raised her head and saw the King staring at her. The situation became a little awkward. Mumna quickly turned his head to look somewhere else. Silence. Complete silence.
Who are you? Why you entered my kingdom in such surreptitious manner?
I didn't intend to harm anyone. I did not.
Then why are you here?
I told you I did not intend to harm or frighten anyone. I was only roaming in the streets of your kingdom without harming anything or anybody. But then, I don't know why people of your kingdom started talking and staring at me. I didn't scare them. They were bothering me.
You were wandering in my streets wearing a cloak, stealthily, hiding your appearance. And then you suddenly vanish. And you say that my people bothered you?
I wanted to amuse myself.
Amusement? Your amusement became my people's nightmare. And why only my Inertius for your amusement?
I said I didn't intend to harm. I just chose your kingdom. There is no reason as such. I don't know if I could bother anybody so much. Again, her answer was undaunted. They were straight on the king's face. No fear, no nervousness. Mumna was puzzled.
You know, you can be incarcerated for your offense for incursion into Inertius. And
I didn't come here for doing any harm. So why would I fear anything? But I'm prepared for any punishment. I do not fear it. I am here in front of you. King felt despised by her bluntness. She was articulate and didn't adorn her words, stark and undiplomatic. Such prowess. Mumna was both impressed and perplexed. He had never faced somebody with such daring. She was answering him every time by looking in his eyes. She rifted and pierced through the king's long, unscathed ego. Her constant gazing in his eyes jolted him. People always bowed down in his presence. Nobody could have the courage to look into his eyes. And here was this girl looking straight into his eyes without any fear. Mumna actually got terrified. He didn't know how to react.
yes, you will be punished, surely.
No answer from her side. She was still looking down, lost in thoughts. King continued looking at her. He anticipated an answer, but got none.
So where you belong? Who is your family? Who has sent you here?
I came here with my own will. Nobody can send me here. No one has authority over me. I belong nowhere.
This is not an answer. I want the truth.
I gave my answer. You can accept it or not. That's your choice.
What about your family?
I wish not to answer that, and I'm ready for any consequences. King had nothing more to ask. He was already baffled by her fearlessness. Her eyes spoke louder than her words. She was definitely constantly fighting with herself in her thoughts. When there was silence, she started thinking. King started seeing his reflection in her. He was trying to find a similar story as her. Confused and lost in thoughts, words just came out of his mouth.
Do you even have a family?
She didn't answer again. This girl was attracting King's curiosity with every question, with every moment passing.
At least tell me your name.
Kristen. My name is Kristen and you are King. This question relaxed the tensions in the room to a level.
Yes, certainly. King Mother.
In the inquest, only one thing was common. Mumno struggled in drifting his attention away from the deep horrendous scar on her face. Nothing made her more uncomfortable than this. Mumno could not resist himself and asked,
What is that thing on your face?
You could have chosen a better word for the thing. I will not mind. It was difficult to decide for what was this. A comment or a sarcastic comment. But anyway, she beautifully ignored the question. King was impressed by her wits. She very wisely answered the question and rejected questions that she didn't like in the most convincing manner. And so now, the king didn't know how to get back to the question. His chance of getting an answer was gone. If he had to confine himself in modesty, he should not ask the question again. But his curious and eager self was not sufficed. He hesitated but again asked very politely as much as he could.
But, I mean, how it occurred? How?
How you got this call? This is what you want to ask her. Why are you being so courteous? Truth is truth. Doesn't matter how horrendous it looks. One should tell truth. Whoever it hurts and to what extent should know it. I accept it. Even should you. She stopped. She again didn't answer. Mumno's eagerness, his will to know, made him walk towards her, gesturing with his hands, empathy in his eyes as he felt that there is enormous pain behind the scar, more than a physical one.
But how?
Not everything has answer. Not every question needs to be answered. This, my scar, is completely impertinent to your kingdom's safety, King. I think I have an alternative in that answer.
But why? What is the problem? I'm just asking you a question.
Oh, so you think every asked question is easy to answer? You answer my question first. I have heard a lot about you. Why are you so stern, ill-tempered? Why do you live alone? Can you answer me?
I'm the king, and I'm not supposed to answer. People should answer me, and you have to answer.
But I'm not supposed to answer this. I will not. I've just met you. I don't even know you. You don't know me. You are the king, and I'm your perpetrator. This is a relationship. And you want me to reveal the most intimate truth of my life before you? What kind of a person are you?
Are you asking that question? Do you know who you are talking to?
Yes. Yes, I know who I am talking to. And I know who I am questioning.
You just can't question like this.
I'm not questioning a king, I'm questioning an individual or person. I think everyone is a person before your designations. And I'm asking one such person. Answer me now. Not as a king, but as a person. You snapped my question. Can you answer me why? No, you can't. And do you know why? Because of one simple reason. The most legitimate reason. More legitimate than your reason. Can you answer why you brought me here in this room, where your people are so far away from you? This is definitely not the most innocent face that you glanced upon. Still, you brought me here. Can you answer why? This is not the way that imitators are treated, or this is the way that perpetrators are treated here in Oceans. Mumno found himself inept of answering any of these. This forced him to think of the most obvious question that she asked. Why he did that? But he could not find an answer. My scar intrigued you. Is that the answer?
No.
Then why?
I just don't know. I didn't pay attention to this question.
Kristen and Mumno looked at each other. They both were anticipating some answers, both from each other and from themselves. Muna was moved by her bluntness, her careless answers, and her rejection of submission. She had pride entrenched in her. She was condescending sometimes, was sarcastic, and even impudent at times. But she didn't look for her words. She spoke her heart, her mind. She didn't condition her words to please the king. After years, Mumna was reminded that he was a person before being a king. Somebody considered him as a person. Someone could show the courage to offend him and to ask a question to the person behind the king. Somebody was looking in his eyes, struggling to read them. It was a different expression. An expression which was clearly not fear. He was getting lost in her face and the sky, deeper and deeper, plunging in a state of madness. So you're finding some answers? Mumna was dragged out of his state.
I also have the right of not answering some questions, don't I?
He said with a small smile, the most awkward smile. She tried to hide her smile. He started looking at her.
Do I look amusing when
Not at all. I never heard of you smiling. I heard that you have not been seen smiling and just that. For the first time, she was trying to find words. This delighted him. He felt elated after years. He could not understand this feeling. He was not able to contain it inside him. It was difficult to handle. They both stopped smiling and started looking everywhere again. Both of them didn't have a clue what was next.
Are you alone?
Yes, I am. But it is better. Nobody to take care of me and nobody that I should care. No heavens. Silence. An uneasy silence. Her answers were strange and beyond imagination. Muna was trying to read between the lines, to unravel the mystery in her eyes. He was trying to listen what she was not saying, and what could be the possibility of the answers.
But why? Why do you think so? I don't think that you really believe what you said.
Nobody can.
Who can choose to be alone?
Who chooses to be alone? I didn't. But some people do choose to be alone, like you. And some people are chosen to be alone.
I chose to be alone? No, I didn't. How can you say that?
You think I'm wrong? You do not answer me, you do not justify me. Justify yourself that you didn't. Think about it. And if you want help, you can look to people around you. They are the answers to your question. Mumna was puzzled. He could not find an answer, but maybe got one. He was still finding the answer, but also might have got closer to it. The cloak was creating a storm inside him. She was questioning everything that he believed. But in the middle of the hassle, his attention diverted to her words.
Mama chosen to be alone. What do you mean by that? Were you chosen to be alone? Who chose you? Why? How?
Hold your curiosity, Your Highness. So many questions in one go? Hold on. I'm not answering any of them. Because you answered none of mine.
This is not the way things are done.
This is the way. The questions were all. Mumna knew that none of his questions were going to get the privilege of meeting an answer. King contemplated for some time. He was thinking something.
You are free. You can go.
What?
I said you can go.
But I don't understand why.
Some questions are not answered. Just leave before I change my mind.
The cloak was baffled. She could not understand what this meant. She nodded. Mumna walked outside the room. He was watching the bright full moon without a single blink. The clouds and the moon playing hide and seek. I'm leaving. I'm grateful that you are permitting me to live without any retribution. I do not know the reason behind it. I know you won't tell me. But I'm grateful.
You do not need to be generous to me. You should leave.
The cloak could notice the solemnity of his face. She was gravely watching it. and then she collected herself to leave.
Will you come back?
She turned her face. She looked at him and then turned back again, started walking. She went the way she entered, leaving the king the way he was, alone. Everything in perfect inertia. Had something changed? Muno spent his night standing under the sky and looking at the moon. He could see the image of a scar on the moon's white body. The scar grew more prominent and more dark as the night passed and it grew darker. He was standing, staring the moon, with the impression of the scar on the moon and having in his mind that, will she come back? Will she come back? Will she ever come back again? Will she come back again?
The king let her go. Strange. But yes, it happened. Tell us, why do you feel the king might have let that girl go? Tell us in the comment section. So, see you guys next Sunday with a new story. If you have missed any of the previous parts, then we are putting the link in the description below. If you liked anything about the story, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Please subscribe to us. Till then, we are enshuae. Do not forget the name.